Welcome, welcome. The goal is to just have a little bit of fun tonight. So there's a lot of new sewers out there, which is very exciting. I know probably in your position you don't see them, but a lot of them are coming to Silhouette Patterns, or a lot of them are saying, hey, I want to learn how to sew, or I haven't sewn for a lot of years. Where do I start? What do I do? So what I decided this summer, on these Tuesday nights, we would have little sew-alongs. Very easy, nothing difficult. But hopefully also, and some of you are sending me pictures of things you've made. I love it. The goal is to get you sewing. And you can see a little bit of time, the goal is, a little bit of time goes a long way. We always want to start with the fabric first. I've had such a fun day. I've had a customer come in, fly in, we did shopping for the day, and it was just so much fun. And just to sit and talk with other sewers and learn about them and understand their process and why they do what they do. It's really important that we start with this fabric first. Fabric is really where it's got to begin. And I don't really want to elaborate on that because I don't want to take up a lot of your time tonight, but just start with the fabric. There's many reasons why, and I could give you many examples, but if you'll just understand, you want to start with the fabrics because the patterns are numerous. And when you always want to start in design with the most precious commodity, and in this case it'd be the fabric. Now I picked 320. Now I told you last week on the Q&As that we were going to do 312. I pushed 312 back to next Tuesday. Next Tuesday we'll do 312, which is Giorgio's top. And the reason I pushed it back to next week is because I had been asked by so many of you who are new beginners, please do a woven. Do a woven in your sew-alongs because they're afraid of knits even. And I get that too. So tonight we're doing wovens. And I picked this pattern 320 because it is amazing across the board, and I want you to see its amazingness. Okay. 320 is Bailey's cowl neck, tank, and wrap. We're just going to do the wrap tonight. The cowl neck I have on. Whoops, I just touched my mic. I wasn't supposed to do that. But you can do the tank if you want, or you can not. Put it on with a tank top like I have here with, something else. But the goal is to see how easy it is to sew this little wrap. And again, it can be knit or woven. We're going to do fabrics first, and then we're going to have a little sew along because there's only like 5 seams. It's very quick and easy. All right, when we go through these colors tonight, you all know that I buy these fabrics out of Italy. I buy them from designers. They are, what's been cut, left behind, that's what we pick up. So the colors are new and fresh. And when you all ask me stuff like, is it gray yellow or blue yellow? It's that, it's the color that it's the name that I'm telling you. So what we're going to do tonight is you're going to go on your computers to the Fall 2024 Color Trends by Pantone from New York Fashion Week. These are the colors that we have tonight. Okay? And I'm going to kind of go through them for you so that you won't, this is kind of the first time where maybe you can start to see this is plum. This is the color, it's called Italian Plum. It's the color I have on. So if I'm telling you it's Italian Plum, you don't have to ask me what color it is. You can go right to your monitor, pull up this chart, and you can see, oh, that's Italian Plum. This is what's called tomato cream. Tomato cream. So, there'll be less misinterpretation of color, okay? So I'm hoping will really fun. So again, these are just all fall colors. They're beautiful. And I'm going to go through and call them by their names that are on this chart. In most cases, I don't have every color, and some of the colors here are not here. But most of these colors we have. Okay, so let's get started with fabrics. We are on our 5,000 series. You're going to go to silhouettepatterns.com. You're going to go to fabrics. You're going to go to view all. And you're going to go all the way to the bottom. And we start with 5,001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we have 17 fabrics tonight. And we're just going to have fun. Okay? And in every case, again, guess what? It can be made up in this cape because it takes on so many different looks. The one I have on is this Italian Plum. This is a cotton poly 2-way stretch woven, and I lengthened it. All I didn't lengthen the sleeves obviously, but the body I lengthened like by 10 inches. So you can do that. It's really easy to just add length at the bottom and go from there. Okay, are we ready? Okay, let's start with 5001, and this is a tomato cream. It's 100% cotton, and it is from Italy. And it's just got great hand, great drape. I love these cottons. 100% cotton. Jeez. It's kind of like I don't even know what the print is. It's not a floral. It's just cool. Tomato cream. Okay? Then we have its little companion is tomato. Now we're seeing a lot of this out there. This is I'm going to say they used to call it a crepeback satin. I mean, they might still call it a crepeback satin, but I'm noticing a lot of websites, especially even high-end, they're not telling you the name of the fabric. They're just telling you that it's reversible. A lot of fabrics are reversible, but crepeback satin has always been matte on one side and shiny on the other side. And like we have a new blouse coming out. We're doing our photo shoot next week. We have a new blouse coming out. And we use the matte for the blouse and then the shiny just for the collar, just to kind of give it a pop. And it's just beautiful. I mean, it's just a really beautiful color. And, anytime you're using a crepeback satin, it has great drape and it's just a really beautiful piece. This is a combination, and you're going to see, because I'm going to use the selvage. I'm actually not going to take it down. This is just beautiful. This is 100% cotton. It is a beautiful fabric. It has stretch in both directions, more stretch in one way than another way. But if you notice the selvage, it has the tomato in the selvage, but it has the plum throughout the body. So it's just so contemporary of what's going on right now. It's just a really pretty combination. 100% cotton, stretch woven, great for a little jacket, reversible. I think both sides are usable. I think this is definitely, I can see it's the right side because it's got a little glitz through it on that side, whereas this side, you just don't get as much glitz. But clearly, this weight of fabrics is really popular for fall. And I've had several of my fabric guys in New York say to me, everybody wants the same thing. We don't have enough of it. But it's this medium weight, stretch woven. It's really for jackets. It's for jackets. It's for cardigans. It's for all of these things that would be great, because this has enough stretch in it that I could do a cardigan. I could do Hugo's cardigan out of this, and it would work because there's enough stretch to it. All right, so 5001, 5002, 5003, 5004 is the one I have on. And you can see just from me, great drape, just incredible drape, stretch in both directions. I did, for the tank top on this, I did put it on a bias fold, even though it probably had, sufficient drape, but I did go ahead and put this on a bias fold just because I wanted it to, I just wanted to make sure it had as much drape as possible. Keep in mind, whenever you're doing a cowl, if you're using a woven fabric, which this is, even though it's a stretch woven, it's still a woven fabric, I want to use a bias because it just gives me more help. If I were going back to a knit, later on, this is a knit here, I wouldn't need a bias, but where I'm using a woven, I want to use a bias, even if it's a stretch woven. It'll give that grain line the most drape it can possibly have. All right, and then we've got 5000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5005. This is great, and this is for this pattern, same thing. The back, I don't necessarily like as much, but I'm going to show you over here if we go to do this fabric like this, and I've got a little bit left of this, just make 2 layers on the front. Use 2 layers. And that way you don't have to worry about the backside showing. If the backside shows, the backside will be the same. So just cut 2 layers, put them wrong sides together, and just sew them as one. And that's just the easiest way to do that. And that way you don't have to worry about the fabric being the same or it being, the right color that you like. But love this 5005. This is 100% viscose, and it's a woven. And what we know about viscose woven is that the drape is incredible. Really pretty fabric. Okay? And then I put this wine in here because the wine just goes with so much. A little different color than the plum, but this wine is beauty. And it is this particular has stretch in both directions. I mean, you know, again, shopping today, we saw pants, and the pants had such great drape. And because these pants have a little wider leg to them, and we've got a great pants pattern coming out, you want a little bit of give to them, just a little bit, and this is just perfect. So this would be great for pants, drape. Again, this cape, you can easily do this cape that I have on with pants that match, because we looked at a Hugo Boss combination, and we had the pants and the jacket were the same color. Great combination, together or separate, and that is a great way to build a wardrobe, is to have those collections. And look at how designers do it. They purposely make those pieces match. I mean, yes, so you'll buy more, but also so that the wardrobe can be more efficient and more useful in the process. And then this is a knit. I had this on. I did my palazzo. I did my the pants out of this. It's a border print. You know, the culottes. I made my culottes really long. That was a couple ones ago. I had it on the store Saturday, and I hadn't worn it before, and it was just really fun. It's really fun to wear. So for you guys all the patterns will probably be mailed out by the weekend. A lot of them have been mailed out. Some of them you may already have, but we had one, we had a typo on the envelope, and we had to reprint the envelope. So just, you know, we had a little bit delay on that, but anyway, they're coming. So this is 100% viscose. It's a panel, and I think there's only a couple panels left. It's not very much of this. All right, and this is called, this next blue, I think it's called Baritone Blue. Yep, Baritone Blue. This is a viscose. And again, this is exactly what we were looking at today when we were looking at pants. This viscose, but yet it's got this stretch to it, which is great, just to give you a little bit of movement in pants. It's a one-way stretch, so you want the stretch to go around, but it also makes a great cape. There's just no limit to what this can do. So this is a viscose, and it's a stretch woven. And Baritone Blue. Baritone Blue is one of our new colors on our Pantone chart, so it works really well. And it's not a navy, it's a little lighter than navy. It works as a navy, but it's just a little bit lighter than. All right, and then we had the sparkle. We had it before, and we just have a little bit left. It's a great time to use the sparkle if you want to do a little jacket with it, like what I've got on. This would be just really cute. You could put it under, you know, over a plain little tank. This is a knit. It's a cotton poly. It has stretch in one direction, but enables you to really make so much out of that. And again, we've sold a lot of this. This bolt was really big. This is all we've got left. But again, it would make great cape, and just for a little glitzy top for the holidays, it would work really well. All right, again, just a little bit left of this. I put this in because it mixed so well with these colors. This is that tomato color that we see over here. You can see it's a tomato in there, and then it's got a little bit of milk, and then the black. And all to be a little bit reflective of a animal print. And this is a woven, and it's a cotton poly. A little bit of a sheen to it, just a little bit, not anything great, but we're seeing a lot of beautiful things done out of this. Okay, and then our last one I put on this row, it's a black and it's a denim. And boy, do we just don't see denims that often at all. And you know, true denim, one white thread, one black thread. It is not a woven, it's not a stretch. It's got a little bit of mechanical stretch to it, but it's a regular good old denim. Deep dark black color, it's beautiful. Not a lot, again, denim is so hard to find that even when I find it, they're just small amounts. So excited to have this denim. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, but it's certainly nothing to write home about. But you can see that the white and the black thread there, that's for sure. Okay, so there's our denim. All right, so we'll just kind of review the top row. Just to go over it, we've got the tomato, 1, 2, 3. we start into our, that's called our Italian plum. And then a print to match, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and our denim is 11. All right, and we'll just take a little break and answer questions. And then we can, if you're busty, is it okay to wear a cowl neckline? Yeah, the cowl, you know, the whole clue is in the word. It's not a cowl bust line, it's a cowl neckline. So the cowl, where is the cowl? The cowl is at my neck, it's not at my bust. It's above the bust. And I've purposely, in all the designs that I've done, I've made that cowl neckline as a neckline, not as a bust line. When it's too low, no, it's not a positive. You want to keep it up in the neckline area. How much fabric did you use for the cape you're wearing? 3 yards. For the size I made, I did 3 yards. Well, that's not true, actually. I'm sorry. 3 yards for the top as well. You know, I mean, this top and the cape I got 3 yards. Okay, but in the back of this cape, I did a black back. You know, so the very back piece, I did black. And I had enough fabric. I just wanted a soft velvet knit. You know, nobody would see it. It was just on my skin. So I just wanted a black back that I knew would be a little softer, as opposed to this is a woven. It's very soft. You'd never know it, but it's just what I decided to do. Peggy, did you add 10 inches to the Bailey's cowl neck tank you are wearing? It looks lovely. Thank you. I added 10 inches to this, and I added 8 inches to the top itself. If you notice that the actual wrap is longer than this top, I only needed 10 inches to get to where I needed it to be, which is I wanted to wear it with leggings. I wanted to wear it, you know, just with a straight pant. It doesn't have to be leggings, but with a straight pant. And I wanted this to be a little bit longer. So to the front, the side piece, and the back is where I added those 10 inches. And then obviously just to the bottom on this underneath part. Okay, not to the sleeve. I didn't add to the sleeve at all. I knew I had made it before, and I knew it came about elbow length, and I liked that. It was the length I really liked. What's the width of the denim? If you'll go to, on each of the fabrics, if you'll go to product details or product info, it's one of the two buttons. Once you click on the fabric and go to the fabric itself, there's 2 tabs. It's a product detail and product whatever. It's on the page. You just have to click the little button underneath the description, and the info on the width and the weight will be there. Okay? All right. Good. Any other questions? Are we good on that? As I step all over the microphone. This microphone is never going to last the years it should because I'm always walking on it. I'm sure I'm just busting all those little wires inside. So I gotta try to be more careful. Okay. All right, should we go on? This bottom row is the fun part because, well, I mean, the top row is the fun part too. Because what I did is I really tried to pick up, now you can still make the cape out of these weights by far, easy. In fact, tonight, the cape we're making is out of the gold gray. It's called a dull gold gray. And we're gonna do that. This is a Pontoroma. And in my shopping today, I always say I wish you all could take me shopping. I mean, I wish I could take you all shopping with me. But I took a picture. Well, you know what? That's why I did that. I forgot. We have that online class. I forgot I released that. It's come shopping with me because I'm going to take you on 3 shopping trips. I'm going to tell you what you're supposed to shop for, what you're looking for. But one of the things we saw today, and it was I don't remember the price, anywhere from $1,400 to $2,000. Everything we were looking at, the blouses were between $900 and $2,400. And the one particular blouse was all raw, the front was all raw edges. Just incredible. Was it fraying? Yes, but that was part of the charm. So I took a picture of it so I could show it to you in that class, and I was going to show it tonight, but anyway, I forgot. So, or just in my hustle bustle, I didn't get there. So I want you to start to embrace raw edges. I want you to be aware of where they can be used and why they're being used and what they do and the look they create, because they're wonderful. They're not just unfinished edges. We don't need to be afraid of them. Okay, so 5,000, we start with 5,012 on this bottom row. This is the one, this is a viscose. This is what I made mine out of, and clearly I think it makes a great piece because it has great drape. The colors are incredible. You could wear it with just about probably anything in your wardrobe. I just think it's cute as can be. It's just a great fabric. And in my particular case, what I did is I finished it with just a black rolled edge. And again, if you wanted to do the front, and I've got enough fabric left that I'm going to cut a new front, and I'd really like to double that front, just so that when I tie it, you know, I have the freedom of not worrying about that back side being shown, because you can use these tops to tie. And you can manipulate it to where, you know, it's the right on top, but I think it's a little nicer to just not worry about it and be able to bring it together. So this pattern is a great cardi, but it's woven or knit. It's either fabric. It's almost any fabric out there, and so it's great. Okay, let's go back to colors because I'm going to show you these colors. This first color we have here is called White Swan. This particular one is a cotton poly. White Swan, if you're looking at your chart, it's perfect. It's White Swan. It's got a matte color on one side. It's got a little bit of glitz on the other side. You don't have to use the glitz. You can use the matte. Both sides are usable. Just a really pretty fabric. Very pretty fabric, White Swan. This one is the Pebble. It's called, well, I don't know. On this, I don't think it's really on this chart. It's more of a gray that's kind of in between. I called it, well, I just called it a textured pebble. It's very pretty. And it really is two different tones in it. And are you on? Yeah, you're on. Good. It's beautiful. Now this is a cotton silk. This is a cotton silk blend. It's a beautiful piece of fabric. It'd make just a beautiful blouse. Both sides are usable. I'm not even sure which is the right side or which is the wrong. It's just very pretty. Blends beautifully with this gold gray. And this is our Pontoroma. This is our Balenciaga. And it is a Pontoroma. It has stretch in one direction. Great drape. We're going to make the little top out of it tonight so you can see the end results of it. And this is that dark gold gray. And then this is a beautiful, this is a boiled wool. Now, this is a Balenciaga also. This is really hitting into kind of like a sweater. It has stretch in one direction, not a lot of stretch, but it definitely has give. Isn't that beautiful? It's just a floral pattern all throughout over the stripe. I really think you could use both edges, but you know, if you got like that Joy's jacket, sweater jacket, Hugo's cardigan, I just think there's so many of those things you can do with it. Again, there's not a lot of stretch, but there's enough that it would feel like a little sweater. Just really pretty fabric. And then this last one is what's known as Moonstruck. Again, if you're looking at your Pantone, this is what's called our Moonstruck. This is like a fleece. And this is 5017. This has slight stretch in both directions, more in one way than another. And that is just a fleece. And it's a cotton poly. And it's lovely. And again, it would do, you know, if you're a yoga and you go, you know, you could make yoga pants out of that, and then you could also make a little cape to match that you just threw on after yoga. So you could look really good while lounging around the house or going to yoga. I was at Nordstrom's today, and they were having their anniversary sale, and there's a pair of pajamas, top and bottom, made out of like a fleece, and I thought, ooh, that would be really lovely. Just to crawl into bed in that fleece would be really nice. Okay, so those are fabrics. I think any of them, all of them, could make a wonderful little top. Most of them are woven so that you don't have a lot of struggle, because I think you're nervous at the machine. So we don't want you to be nervous at the machine. We're going to make this really simple and really easy. So, any questions? We're good to start sewing? Okay, good. And you know, you guys know you can ask questions while we're sewing and we can talk while we're sewing, not a big deal. So this particular pattern, again, 320 Bailey's. We're just going to do the wrap. I'm going to leave it there. And if you'll just open up your pattern, there's only 4 pieces we're going to use tonight. There's 4 pieces, and those 4 pieces, I've got them laying here on the table. We cut 2 sleeves. There's a front, there's a back, and there's a side. Pretty easy. Tonight, I am not going to finish anything. Not one edge am I going to finish. And that's really not because I wouldn't finish it. I just don't want to. Finishing is just a little bit of time. It's not hard to do, it just takes more time. So we're just going to start without that finishing process. I'm going to start with the back, and that's what the back looks like. And in most cases, it's cut on the bias, so it has a really nice little hang to it. When I cut this, I put the pin on the right side so that I could see what the right side was. And I'm actually basting this together because I have some little secrets that I want to do with this later, but I want to get it to be a sew along for you guys today. Okay, so I'm just going to start with doing the shoulder seams. I'm going to do right side to right side. And make sure you have the right piece to the right piece. And just to understand the piece like this, as it hangs down, the straighter edge is center front. Where it goes off in a scoop like that is the side. And I did not add any length to this. I did it just as the pattern. I'm going to do just a 3/8 inch seam allowance. And I decided to use a black thread and a white thread, just so you could kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay, right sides together. We're just doing the shoulder seams is all we're doing. Okay, so what I want to show you, if it's okay with you, kind of as we go through and make this. You know, I remember years ago there was Simplicity, I think, and it doesn't matter who it was. They used to always advertise easy pattern. And I remember looking at many of those patterns. I mean, this is way before I had a pattern company. I remember looking at some of those patterns thinking, okay, it might be easy to sew, but it's not easy to fit. When I talk about easy, and this is Thursday night, I'm going to do a little video on this. I'm talking easy to fit and why it's easy to fit and easy to sew. So those need to be both. Otherwise, it can be easy, but you won't like it. So my goal when I show these patterns to you or introduce these patterns to you is they're not just easy to sew, they'll fit and look great as well. That's the goal. All right, so that's my goal anyway. It can't be just one or the other. Did we have questions? Are we okay? Pardon? Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, so right now I have the front and the back, and the front and the back are going to sew like that. You can see that that's just a little cape is what we're starting, but we're going to add the sleeves. And when I cut out the sleeves, what I did is I put a pin on the right side of the fabric. Fabric like this is very easy to confuse because you can't really tell what side is what. But just, I think it's just important just to be consistent. So I'm going to put the right side and the middle against the shoulder seam right there. So that's going to be where I line it up. And then I'm simply going to go down. It doesn't matter, really, there's no easing here. What's on top and what's on bottom. The only thing I'm going to do is go down to make sure I'm coming out to be the same edge. They should be the same length down here. If I've added to the body, they're not going to be the same length. If I haven't added to the sleeve, but I've added to the body, they're not going to come out the same. Like the one I had on, my body was way longer. But because these, and before I do this section, all of the hems are done. All of the pieces are finished. So I'm just going to sew that sleeve. It's going to come up one side. It's going to go down the other. Remember, when you're doing this, you want to make sure one hand is pulling the fabric through evenly, and then one hand is guiding the width of the seam allowance. Okay, and then look ahead just a little bit, and these should come out even. It doesn't matter if you want to pin them, so whatever's up to you. If you're using a serger, you can serge them. I just wanted to, in every aspect, my goal is to keep it simple, you all. Keep it simple. Okay, and there you start to see this really pretty flutter of the sleeve. Isn't that pretty? Okay, and then I'm not even gonna do the other side. I don't think it's necessary for you all to see that. I'm just gonna do the side panel. And what you're gonna do with the side panel is you're gonna come in here, and it doesn't really matter how you sew it, but these two seams, and again, see, I marked the right side of my side panel. I'm gonna sew it backwards, so sew right sides together so that the seam will be inside. So I'm going to do right sides here, and I'm going to do one side so I can show you. I'll do both sides on this piece. I'm going to start at the bottom, and remember, earlier all of these are hemmed, but I decided if all of them were hemmed, it wouldn't make a difference if they weren't hemmed when I was showing you this. I just want to kind of get across to you the logic of the pattern and why it's just a fun pattern for summer. Okay, so here's the sleeve, here's the side, here's the piece I sewed on, and so here's the back seam. Now you don't want to sew it to where the seam is, you want to sew it this way. I'm not sure you can see that. Let me lay it down on the table and make sure you can see that, because it's not a big deal. The sleeve does cover it, but I think it's just, you'll like it a lot better if it's done correctly. Okay, so let me get all these out of the way so you can see where we're at. Okay, this is the front right here. This is the other side. We don't have to worry about that. If we lift this up, here's that side piece. You can see that's the right side. So see how I sewed that seam in? It's completely encased the seam now. It's only showing on the inside. So if I sew the seam like this, it will show, whereas if I sew it like that, it won't. So what I'm going to do is come in from this side, I'm going to lift it all up and sew it right where I've stitched before and sew it again. That's it. And again, if you sew it to where the seam is showing, it's not like it's wrong. And the seam won't really show because it's inside. And this is it. This is it. You're done. Okay, so I want to put it on the mannequin and kind of show you some little fun things with it. And, you know, for you guys to just be adventurous as can be, that's the goal, is to get it to where you're comfortable with the pattern, you're comfortable with what's going together, you're comfortable with the fabrics, and you're a short distance away from having a really cool top. And in a really contemporary color and, you know, everything else. Okay, see there it is. Isn't that cool? So here's the side panel, and we're going to peek underneath here now, and see how neither of those seams show? Can they see that? Because both of those seams are on the inside. And you hemmed all these pieces before you started, or you didn't. And you can see just how much beautiful drape there is in this back. It's built into the pattern. You don't even have to worry about it. Isn't that beautiful? And then these front ties, you can take them to the side, you can tie them.
You can do so many different things with those. I can see this whole thing in just like a little lace for fall, for summer. Just fun. Okay, the goal is to keep it simple, you guys, and get in that sewing room. Today in Dallas, I think it was 102 degrees. So it's a perfect time to sew. Okay, so that's our little encouragement for tonight, our little fashion tips. Let's answer any questions you have, and then we'll let you go sew. We'll get you to the sewing machines, okay? That's where I'm headed. We've got a photo shoot next week. I got a lot of sewing to do. Okay, what can we answer for you? Can you do a pattern of fabric layout and cut along night? Well, yes and no. If you tell me what it is you're looking, a couple people have asked me for this. I can't figure out why you want this. So if you'll tell me what you're looking for, because I was doing them in the beginning, and I decided they are, you know, they take 20, 30 minutes to do, but I just can't figure out what you're learning from them. So if you shoot me an email, tell me what you're looking for. We may not need to do it. We may just need to answer your question, okay? But as far as all of this, time-wise, I'd much rather show you new styles, easy patterns to make, easy fit, all of those things, because I don't think we're struggling with the cutout. I think we're struggling with the pattern fabric selection and the sewing, okay? So I want to try to make that easier, quicker, faster for you. Okay, what else? Are we good? Is it time to say goodnight? All right, what's that? Yeah, we'll give you a minute to, let me tell you about the shopping class, because we have, there's been women who have paid to come down to Dallas, and I realize not everybody can afford that, so I'm doing an online class, and what that is you can, we're gonna go shopping. We're gonna go shopping what I would take you for the first time, what I would take you to look for the second time, what I would take you to look for the third time. Even today, I said, this is a lot of times not anything you can't do. We just don't take the time out to do it. And I love to go shopping with you, don't get me wrong. I personally have a blast. I love it. I hope you all love it as much as I do. But I'm telling you that it is a necessary part to save you so much time in your shopping. Some of the things I prepare for are like, we call it the Brett chart. If you go into FAQs in the middle section, there's a measurement chart. You all should know about that measurement chart. You should know about that measurement chart. I'm going to remind you of a couple things too on Fit to Stitch. Fit to Stitch are donations. We have the Singer sewing machines. You know that the featherweight's $221. You can get a featherweight conditioned, all ready to sew and go. And it's like $7.99, just not expensive, especially when I've got a service guy who's going through it and making sure the service is really working well. But what I was going to say about that is on the donation page, there is an address to the University of North Texas, and it is a fabric donation. So you can donate and write off this fabric. You can use Fit to Stitch write-off number. We'll claim that you write it off, and you want to ship it to the University of North Texas address. So those are for the students. The students, you guys, they've gotten quite a bit, and they're thrilled. These students, imagine having all the fabric you want to cut into and not worrying about what it cost. Can you imagine how much progress you could make? So they are just loving this. They're just loving that they have this fabric. And I can't remember how the university did it so they wouldn't just hoard all this fabric, but they did something where they would respect what we're doing. But it has made a large difference. They're so grateful. They keep saying thank you to me. It's not me, it's really you guys. So clean out your fabrics. Get what's new, get what's current. I know a lot of you have fabrics, but if fabrics have sat around for a while, they're not fun anymore. They're just not, it's not fun to go into anymore. So you always want to keep that fresh and rotating. And you do need a stash because you need a stash, but just kind of manage that stash to make sure it doesn't shut down the whole process. Will the blue cloud fabric you have on the mannequin be good for this cape? Yes, it's lightweight, and I think both colors are good. I mean, no, you'd want to put you don't have to, but you'd probably want to double the front. But otherwise, yes, it would be great. See those lightweight knits? Just everything works. Love the look of the cape you just showed. Are you
cut any of the cape pieces with woven fabric on the bias. Well, the one I have on is cut, but you don't have to cut on the bias. It's built into the pattern. I promise you guys. I did all of that thinking for you. All you got to do is lay it down, pay attention to the grain lines, and just cut and sew, just like I did tonight. Okay. All right, now, people keep saying it can't be this easy. Yes, it can. It can be this easy. I'm trying to tell you it's as easy as can be. And then take pictures and then post them on Facebook. Show everybody how easy this and fun this sewing is, you guys. Let's do it. And, the goal is to use all kinds of different fabrics. I want all of those different fabrics to be used. They will all be great, and they'll just be different. Okay. Too much fun, you guys. Okay, so it's the time, I forget about this part. It's the time we're supposed to say that you're supposed to, you guys, you know what? Do you think we could start commenting, or do you think we're so used to not commenting we can't comment? You're supposed to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Hit the bell. Hit the bell. That's the bell. It looks like a button, but it's really a bell. Yeah, if we can find a bell like that, I love that. So if we can find a bell, we'll go for the bell. But in the meantime, use your vivid imagination that you have and pretend that button is a bell. Okay. All right. So we will see you on, you've got a couple questions, okay? Can we see close-up picture of pattern again? Sure. 320. Now I'm going to flip this around for a minute once he gets a close-up, because inside there is also the tank. The tank is in there. I didn't talk that much about the tank. The tank is what I have on, but it's just a great little top. Okay. There you have it. All that bias hanging is just going to be beautiful. Very easy to work with. And again, you can see with this one, I didn't finish a thing on that. And I'm going to tell you something. If you price it high enough, you can do whatever you want. So if I price this at $2,000, people don't come along and say, "Oh, it's not finished." They don't know they don't understand even what a finish is. So it's incredible, really, what's in the store and how expensive it is. We looked at a lot of things today. I was really surprised. We're seeing more and more raw edges and not inexpensive. We were not, at Target. Let's put it that way. Okay. All right. Fun day today. All right, ladies, we're going to say goodnight. Any questions, just shoot me an email. I'll put it in the Q&As, which are not this Thursday night. A week from Thursday night, the Q&As are this Thursday night. I've got a little lesson on what makes a pattern easy fitting and easy sewing. We want both of those things. Last week we did, actually we're going to show this top, if you don't mind. We did this top, and what makes this top easy is because there's no exact point for fitting. There's no exact point for the dart. There's no exact point for the waist. So all I have to do is get the right circumference, and it becomes very simple, obviously the right fabric. And so when I look at patterns, and when we look at this 320 that we just did, there's no exact place for the bust. There's no armhole. There's none of that. So as long as I like the look of it, it will look great on you. So don't let anything stop you from just pushing ahead and getting it made. Yay! And I'm going to show you a couple more Thursday night. And then next week we'll have our sew along for 312. We've got some beautiful knits coming, but 17 new fabrics. The fabrics will be up. That boiled wool, the Balenciaga is amazing. They'll be up through Friday night. Okay? All right. Bye. Hit the bell.